Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is SunriseSamuraii, Chair 1 for this 11 o'clock Amaterasu's ranked game. I am joined by a very special guest, one of my best friends in the world, his first time casting, Be Kind, Wes Mitchell, Noxious Narhwal. Say hello to the people.
Oh my goodness, it is an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you all for having me. I'm excited to call my first game.
So we have an absolute banger for you guys at 11 o'clock, a high ranked Q Celestial match. We have the Josh from Asia as the captain for the Order side, and Tiki Doo, my caster from last game, as the captain for the Chaos side. As we give you guys the roles, because we know it switches up in this league, we have King Sinatra as the carry for the Order side, Glub as the support, Jay Sorvey as the mid, Josh as the jungle, Gumbo as the solo. And going over to the Chaos side, we have Ostrich as your carry, Akru as your support, Kane as your mid, Marge as your jungle, and of course, the reigning champ of the solo lane, Tiki Doo in solo. We're going to go over to the picks and bans right now. We're joining them about halfway through. How are you liking these picks and bans so far, Wes?
Uh slightly questionable to take Medusa first. I feel like you could wait a long time in the draft pick before that's going to be prevalent. And I haven't watched many games. If there's one thing I know though, you can't let Tiki Do have the Shiva. He is gonna run it in the solo lane. I'm curious to see what they do to counter it.
Yeah, Tiki Do, I haven't seen have the thickest god pool so far. One or two, we did our best to ban him out in that first game. Unfortunately, he finds himself on the Shiva yet again, the tried and true pick. Let's see where this goes. We have pretty safe bans on the Order side. The Susan, because they know that the mean players on that Order side, on the Chaos side, can run her down. They take away the Sun Wukong from the Tiki. They take away the Rob from the Tiki. Tiki says, I've got more picks that you're not going to be able to ban out.
Yeah, indeed. And then they go with this Thanatos, and I don't know how I feel about it right now. Honestly, it's in a world of Bakasuras and your sets and all these characters that can really run it down. It just seems like Thanatos is gonna he's just not gonna bring it the same way these other ones will.
I think we're
They,
seeing a little bit of recency bias. The Thanatos in the 9:30 game, I believe finished 13-2
oh
with that super popular weakened Golden Blade build right now. So I think recency bias is popping its head out. Like you said, there's a lot of meaner picks out there, but the third pick, Thanatos, is certainly very interesting. How you feeling about this Medusa X Ball combo that we have going on right now?
yeah, I mentioned the Medusa to begin with.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We apologize for that short technical break. Unfortunately, somebody seemed to crash one of the players, but we're going to get right back into picks and bans. Hopefully, they rush straight through this so we can get this game going. We see positions might have switched up a little bit. Chaos side is burning through their bank time, hopefully, trying to figure this out.
I'll be curious if they take this Medusa first pick again. Surely,
So,
surely they think of something slightly different.
unfortunately, when there's a crash, you're locked into your picks and bans that you had already done. You're just supposed to
Oh,
kind of get right back in where you were.
okay. Well, that's gonna
So,
keep. Yeah. Hey, I
yeah,
guess that keeps it good and
unfortunately, you
competitive.
were stuck watching this Medusa play, Wes.
Oh, gosh, it's gonna, I have to. It has to kill me inside twice. Awesome.
Listen, last game I was so skeptical of watching the Thanatos Golden Blade, and I was pleasantly surprised coming out of the end. I hope that they do the same exact thing with this Medusa pick, and she gets some 5-man stuns and just blows you away.
Hey, I hope so. I love to be proven wrong. Nothing makes me happier, actually. And I've actually been looking at chat as well, and they've been mentioning this Golden Blink Thana build, and I'm excited to see it. I haven't seen it yet, and hopefully I'm proven wrong twice in one game.
Yeah, I'll be the first one to admit I was extremely skeptical of it. I was might have been a little shit talking it last game, but we saw it was piloted by a super aggressive, super proficient player who's taking a lot of these blinks under tower, getting kills, getting out. That's exactly what I want to see from it this game. If you're gonna go that Thanatos, we both know that you rule that early game. Um, like I told the caster from our last game, it's going to come down to what relic does he buy first. If I see the blink, I'm happy. If I see the beads, I'm extremely upset.
Yeah, that's fair, and I don't think we've seen the jungle just yet out of order side here, so I'm curious to what they're gonna choose to counter this Thanatos. If they try to match its early pressure, if they're like, hey, we'll let this wither away and we'll try to win it in the late. It seems like with this double ADC comp, surely they plan to play for the late a little bit more.
Yeah, it should be interesting. So far, very safe carry pick on the Chaos side, very safe solo pick on the Chaos side. So whatever jungle pick they do end up coming up with has got to be something that can really run them down and show them their face. To respond to chat, I see somebody's commented, no Marty ban. We're going with the comp rules right now, where Marticarus and Charon are both excluded from the game at the moment. So that's a safe ban because we both know you'd be wasting a ban on both of those anyways. So we're
Understood
going
both.
into
Go on, go on.
we're waiting on them to repick the X ball pick on the order side. Unfortunately, they seem to be burning through this
Oh, they chose
this
something different.
I don't necessarily know if that's allowed, but it's an 11 o'clock game. We've got some demon queues going. It's 11:15. We might be throwing the rules into the air and taking this down. I do
I
like
like
the
the
I
old pick a lot better, if I'm being honest. But with that being said, I don't care for the fact that well, you know what? I think they've changed on the chaos side as well. So by golly, fair's all fair in love and war, right? If they did it, we can do it.
Yeah, so the chat was kind of hyped to watch another X ball mid game, and which I assume sarcastically Glub was hitting them with that it was OP, which we very much know it was not. So they switch up with the Uller pick. What do you think about this switch from the X ball to the Uller?
Um, if it's an Ul mid, I like it a lot more. I think Ul has really good burst, which is kind of what you're looking for out of your mid. As for X ball, you got that more sustained auto damage where it's just getting hit over and over again. So I like it a little bit more. Um, I would have liked a mage a whole lot more, as a matter of fact. Yeah, I people think mages are weak, but late game, if you're still getting chunked 800, just can't do that as an ADC. But that's just me.
Yeah, we saw that last game. We had a Vulcan mid pick, of course, top damage. We see a Marticarus hovered right now. I think things might we're just going full chaos mode right now. It's the late game. Admins are asleep. No one's paying attention. I think we're going full demon queues right now, and I love to see it. Oh, and a Baba Yaga switch. Recently, Baba was re-added to the comp. She was banned for a short period of time due to a slight glitch, but I think she's been reintroduced to the fold. So we'll
Yeah,
see if Chaos Side decides to lock this in.
the glitch was with her potions, correct? Like they would
Yeah,
proc
she had an odd
something over and
interaction
over again.
where, just like Charon on released, she was repeatedly over procking things. So your Glad Shields, your Soul Reaver, things like that were continuously over procking. We see a quick lock from the Alpwash there. They weren't playing any games. They were going into this. And now a Yu Heng is hovered as their fifth from the order side. Certainly a questionable draft right now. Or they're just trolling us and they're going through every backline pick that they can because they like to watch us sweat in the caster booth.
Well, they can figure out that pick. I'm oddly excited about this Alpwash pick. Alpwash into Terra and Shiva and Raw. That's a lot of sustain that he's going to be able to get 3 stuns off of and have big value out of it. His ult, of course, with the built-in anti-heal. However, if he gets run down by the who's the jungle of the Chaos side?
I think again they're also trolling us and hovering this Charon even though it's not
Oh yeah,
picked.
yeah, there it is. There it is. Yeah,
That's
so
a
this Mercury has a pretty good gank ability into this Alpwash. So if this Alpwash has a chance to set back, farm, kind of get to that late game where he's tanky and he's doing a bunch of damage, he could be a real issue for this healing comp out of the Terra Ra.
So you think it's gonna be a Outwash solo, I assume, from the way you're talking about tankiness.
I would assume it's an Alpwash solo looking at this.
So let me ask you this question: who do you think is going in the jungle for that order side?
I think this is going to be an Ul jungle. You've seen it out of a couple people. Ul's not the weirdest jungle. Scream likes to do it. Solo or Troll will do it on occasion when he gets jungle. Ul has decent jungle ability. He has good clear. He has decent setup with his stun. The axe is pretty reliable. So I think he's not the worst jungle.
So looking
But
at both of these teams, where do you think your win condition comes from the order side?
hmm, I think it's all on the ADCs of this order side. I think if they have, if this Alpwash ult can zone and if this Sobek can give even decent peel or CC to set them up and they're allowed to just rip through these people, I think they'll absolutely shred through this team. Because Alpwash,
Now,
while he does do a lot of damage, doesn't offer a lot of CC and presence. He doesn't set that tone.
now looking over to the chaos side, I'm gonna ask you the same question, probably a much easier answer. Where do you see this win condition coming from this chaos side?
Um, the Chaos side, it's all Tiki Do in the solo lane. It's
Of
if
course.
this Mercury and this and Tiki Do absolutely run it down and put this Alpwash in the dirt, as they should because it's an Alpwash solo, then I think they will have a quite easy game.
So we're putting a lot of favor onto the chaos side, I assume, by how easy that response was.
Yeah, I think Chaos side one has a much easier, like a lot easier abilities to hit. I mean, you look at the Heim with his big cone attack that slows. Like Ra is their highest execution character, and everyone else pretty easy to hit stuff. And Smite's pretty easy if you have big circles to hit things. You look at the order side, Ul's got a line attack, Sobek has his pluck, Medusa only has the cone or the acid spray. It's much more higher execution.
So now that you gave us that very concise, very professional answer about this Uller really popping off, order side is gonna keep throwing curveballs at you. It's gonna be a Medusa jungle. How do you see this pairing?
Oh, sheesh. Let me tell you, I don't think I've seen a Medusa jungle since Medusa was super OP since it came out. So if this Medusa can get good ganks with their ult, that's what she's got to do. She's got to farm till 5 and have good value out of the ults. And
Yeah, certainly going to be rough. The Eye of the Jungle pickup from her is kind of cementing this in. Uh, very uh, interesting play from Josh from Asia. Josh from Asia, maybe if you didn't catch that last stream or not, had a phenomenal Danzabura game. He started nice and slow into a Freya, stacked up his devos as people like to do. Then, halfway through building a dominance, switched into Griffin Wings and absolutely dominated the game with a quick thinking switch up and build. So he's feeling hot on the carries. He thinks that he can repeat that same success on Medusa and decides to take her into the jungle.
Yeah, and I think stacking is probably the best idea if you're gonna play ADC jungle. However, he's decided to go with T1 Mace. And I'm slightly confused. Is he going to go the Jones? Is he going to go the Crusher? It's, I feel like if you're going to play this ADC, surely you're kind of looking for the mid game to get maybe 2 items online and then start popping off. I'll be curious to see what he builds that first item slot.
And I want to point your attention over to the Heimdall on the other side. Heimdall is going T2 of Griffin Wings to start off this game. How you liking that?
I'm not a fan. I think starters are best bang for your buck items in the game. I mean, for 6 to 800 gold, they'll give you 4 to 5 stats. Uh, Griffin Wing does also give you 4 to 5 stats, but it's gonna put him behind if this Ool can pop off early and start stacking his trans before this Griffin Wings and T1, I assume Blood or Dev Gloves comes online. So
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a brief pause, so we're just going to go into a little bit more of these builds. I assume we're going to be coming at you momentarily. So as you brought up, you love the starters. Heim might be one of the few gods that can get away with not having that starter. Not crazy mana intensive, which he's going to get the mana regardless from the Griffin Wing T2, but
indeed.
doesn't necessarily need the sustain that he's going to get off of either the Death Toll or your Shroud. So he might be one of the few gods that can kind of get away with this. He's Jingwei Light, extremely, extremely safe as long as he's playing those crystals right. This is going to be real tingent on this Uller playing as aggressive as feasibly possible, trying to get in his face before he gets that Griffin Wings build. So we start this game off right now strong. Uller going into that jump. I love to see it. I hope to see some aggression as we walk into lane. Let's point your attention over to the solo lane now. Outbosh choosing a stack, but not choosing. We don't know which she's gonna go, Thoth or Tablet. Where do you think? What direction do you think this build is gonna take?
I'd see it being a tablet. Surely it procs on every single one of his abilities. He's dang near an RDO when it comes to procking it. You're throwing your ones, you're picking up the bodies, you're procking it again. It's actually a pretty darn little good build. One thing I would have liked to saw is the conduit gem, especially with Tablet of Destiny late game. When you get the upgrade for it, it increases its damage. So I think he went the wrong starter, but I think if he goes tablet, it's the right idea.
Yeah, the Gem of Focus does the upgrade off of the Conduit Gem does synergize extremely well with these tablet builds. But like you said, you want to see this Outwash tanky. You want to see him have some survivability considering this team. Ooh, and an aggressive
Good
dash
dash
in from
in.
Josh from Asia. Josh from Asia gets a dash in, puts good damage onto that Ra. Mercury is able to turn around, get a dash onto Jay Swervy. It costs Jay Swervy his beads. But Order side is certainly looking the stronger in this mid lane matchup right now.
Yeah, a lot of aggression. That Medusa dash chunks early game. People actually kind of sleep on it. So, Medusa dash into the acid spray can, that'll half healthy if you're not careful. And they weren't.
Ooh, and look at the serious pace setting move right now, freezing the second wave. Mercury tries to dash in and get a dash. Unfortunately, he misses. The Medusa dash to respond also misses. No harm, no foul.
Yeah, just kind of reset. Everyone will keep farming. A little bit of poke onto the Ron Mercury yet again. They're really keeping them under this tower, and I love to see it. I think you got to. You can't let this Mercury get big.
Not only the Mercury, it's a double-edged sword right now of setting that tone for the game. You and me both extremely skeptical of this Medusa bid. So far, Josh from Asia certainly proving what he's going to do is attempt to curt this right now. They're able to pick up the camps on left lane, but a quick response from the Order side. We're seeing an early game grouping up. We'll see what this turns into right now. The mid lane Yuhang and the Medusa are not letting them walk around this jungle for free.
And they honestly shouldn't. They have a lot better early game fight than this Mercury does, but They did the right thing there out of both sides and just kind of reset, realizing that there was no great opportunity with the shield being taken and buffs coming up.
Yeah, it was certainly a smart play from the Chaos side, recognizing that the counter rotation was coming behind him. If they had committed to that duo lane side, we would have seen how mean this Medusa can get. Some early damage on the Ra, tries to go for the aggressive too. Unfortunately, the Yu-Hang flying to the air play, as usual, is able to negate a lot of that damage. If we look over to the solo lane side, for a brief period, Gumbo definitely had the health advantage over Tiki, but Tiki says, "This is my lane. I don't play." Now we see where the health bars are sitting.
Yeah, it's not a half bad back for Alpash. He'll back here, get T2 of his book, get a Chalice. You know, he's not feeling the worst about that. He's not probably ever going to get full tablet or Book of Thoth, depending on what he decides to choose off his first back. So he's 5, he's coming back, he's not feeling awful.
So how are you liking these relic pickups? We already see that the blink is down on Tiki, so that kind of explains where that health difference came from. But the non-traditional solo pickups of a blink and a beads on the outwash, how you liking that?
I like it. I think that's Alpash. You can't worry too much about losing a wave or two, especially if you don't have those beads. You can just get ganked over and over again. Oh, big ult out of the Medusa there. But yeah, as I was saying, I think you almost have to go beads if you go the Southwash. If you go the TP, you're getting camped.
Yeah, as we switched over to them, we saw the Alpwash through the crypts was coming out, and it was doing a lot of damage to Tiki. Tiki went into the ult, thought that he was safe to back out, and this surprising Medusa jungle pick picks up first blood.
Yeah, I mean, sheesh. Mark ult here. Ooh, he short sells it just a little bit. I think
Ooh.
that's really gonna stop his chances of getting this kill. Yeah, he needed that damage bad.
Oh, yeah, unfortunately, like you said, Merc drops the ult a little bit short, doesn't put off enough damage. Terra tries to come in with a big ult, big two play. Oh, and out of nowhere, Josh from Asia picks up the Mercury, makes him pay for that misplay on the ult. Comes in for the shield defense. Heimdallr doesn't see this coming. Heim is pushing down, was able to pick up the kill. Scream gets it.
Ooh. Is that a mid rotation out of the you hang there? That's a big
Mid
rotation.
rotation out of the U hang, but as I said, Jingwei Light, Heimdallr is able to just crystal his way out of there. Now I know you're new to the league, and you are a support man, so I want to put you on this guy Scream. I've casted a lot of his games. He is easily one of my favorite supports to watch in this game. You watch, he's going to keep going for a lot of those aggressive dive plays, as he just tried to pull off there. Actually, successfully pulled off in the end, although the initial dive wasn't great. You'll see the persistence from Scream is going to show its face a lot during this game.
Well, I do love that he was willing to even go for it. You know, he's willing to realize that if he gets that kill, it's worth his life for that ADCs in that farm. You know, that's all about being a support. It's about trading your life for the better of your team. However, I
Yeah, it
don't
was.
care his starter pickup. He went this Sentinel's Blessing, and that's just fallen really out of favor. I think War Flag or Benevolence is a whole lot better. But I guess if you're running down, maybe he wants the extra save.
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly the benevolence pick into the heroism. Ooh, and Josh from Asia picks up his 4th kill of the game. Josh from
Oh,
Asia showing that he is just built different on this Medusa jungle right now.
and he did indeed go the crusher that I was talking about. So he's really looking for this early game kind of snowball against this late game Merc.
Yeah, you wanted to see him go something stacking. Merc all under tower gets the beads out of Jay Swervy. Sobek responds in kind. The 2 root onto Yotsuyu, but Yotsuyu is able to dash out. Unfortunately, the raw ult to follow up is off the mark. We see pings coming out from the order side. They don't want to give up this fight. Sobek tries for a dash in, unfortunately misses.
Yeah, that's the thing about this Raw. It's hard to hit those ults without good confirmable CC, and you know, without the tear around Merc ult misses, it's not the easiest ability.
Yeah, and he went the Charon's coin. He was certainly banking on some early kills there. Unfortunately, so far is not paying off for him. He's hitting the only person 0-0-0 on his team.
Yeah, just struggling to get involved right now. I would have liked to see maybe a good Chronos pendant or something just to keep firing those bad boys off. I really think that's the best way to play Raw. Just spam your abilities, try to hit as much damage as you can. But he privileged the burst over the cooldown.
Yeah, we were in the middle of talking about it when a fight broke out. We were talking about these support starter items. I know you're a huge fan of this war flag. You can see it certainly was built on the order side just due to the nature of their team. The two ADCs getting that additional attack speed going was a strong move. There's a fight going down right now. Yu Hang in mid. Yu Hang is able to get that 3 off. Ra's going to try and
Terrible.
continue. Let's see the Ra snipe. Oh, and the Ra snipe is off the mark. But
Terror.
Scream still throwing it down, and he goes for the 2, misses. Ra's keeping going. Ra tries to get that additional movement speed. They're still diving under the T2, and they were able to pull off that kill.
Oof. That was, you didn't lie when you said old Scream was persistent. That man was diving T2 at 8 minutes. Trying to get that.
They drop the kill at the T1. He says it's not done. Merc finally hits an ult onto place. He is able to ult Medusa. Medusa's trying to turn around and at least get a kill on Ra.
Huge exchange there, 5-0.
Yeah, it was a huge gold swing that just went in the favor of Chaos side. They were able to stop that bleed as it is. So as we're looking over to, I know we keep getting sidetracked on these support builds. These guys just love to fight, and I love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, this is really an entertaining game. I wish we would kind of see people group up around more of these side camps or something and fight for something of value instead of just these random jungle brawls. But you know.
Especially in this early game, I'm loving seeing the arena fights go down. Mercury is making sure that he's staying ever present on that duo side. So far, the solo side's been left to their devices. They said, you chose Outwash, you make it to late game, and Outwash so far is doing that pretty successfully. Yu Hang able to get a nice push away from his ult. He's low health. He's putting on those juke boots. He's getting out. The juke boots are on fire right now as he walks into the jungle.
Oh, is it just going to be...
Yosoi, the 1 is off, but he does hit the dash.
Yeah, once you're that... I mean, honestly, Terra is such a rough matchup for this Yu Hang. You have two choices. It's either you get rooted and you're 3 away and then you get stunned, or you get stunned and then you're 3 away and you get rooted. So this Terra pick really smart into this Yu Hang.
Yeah, so far, we were most skeptical of the Medusa pick, and it seems to be the only one that's really flying high right now.
Yeah, this Merc isn't actually doing too bad. To have 3 kills at 10 minutes as an early game Merc, you're not feeling too awful about that.
Yeah, he just got his rage online. He's certainly going to try and make sure that he's as involved as possible. Unfortunately, Merc has another DC, so we're going to be pausing for a brief moment, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, and there you go. He's back. Even briefer than I thought it would be.
And this Medusa might be 6-1, but if you look, this Merc actually has a 2 level, which is pretty prevalent on pretty much the entire Chaos team. So
yeah, Merc's more efficiently farming than she is. Medusa making sure that she is involved in as much kills as possible. Unfortunately, if you're going to keep bullying that Heim, those kills are going to be worth less and less the more you go at him. I want to see a little bit more attention. Ooh, and the Merc ult is off the mark in the duo lane. Heimdallr, they get the beads out of the Uller. Merc is going to keep this fight up. He's one tapped. Merc's dashing him down. The 2 from the Heim slows him down. Oh, and the smart play from the Mercury to let the Heimdallr get the kill to make sure that he's back in this game. Now sitting 1-3-2 from the Heimdallr.
Yeah, they tried to shut this Heim down, but he only was 1 level behind. So they pressured him out early, but they didn't take away much of his farm, it seems like, because setting at 0-3 at 10 minutes, you think he'd be more than 1 level down.
And the reigning solo lane king is the first tower that we see dropped off of this map right now. Tiki's sitting 1-3 on his pivotal Shiva pick. He's normally the guy that I pose to run a game. Have we finally found his counter pick in the Outwash?
And Outwash did go to the tablet, which is what I wanted to see out of it, straight into a breastplate. So he's already setting a 30% cooldown. No wonder Tiki Du's struggling. Outwash is probably slamming.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tiki decided to go to that prophetic because, as we both know, you struggle to find a lot of those magic stacks in the solo lane. When you're going against a magical solo laner, that's your time to really get it going. This way you're at least rotating in with big defense. Unfortunately, it's putting him a little bit behind trying to get those stacks built up from this big damage from this Outwash. Outwash is sitting top on the order side's damage right now with 7k damage on the map. We see a fight breaking down in mid lane. You hang ult to push him back. Unfortunately, that doesn't do much to Scream. Sobek hits a beautiful pluck back. Unfortunately, Yu Hang was backing off to try and zone this out a little bit. Big damage from the Sobek. Big plays from the Sobek. Unfortunately, it doesn't come out to be anything for the Chaos side team. An incredibly even game. We have a duo side fight. Medusa is able to bees out the Heimdallr ult. She turns around for an ult, and ooh, Ostrich is able to walk out with barely any health right now.
Yeah, by the skin of his teeth. I wish I could see what it got down to. He's sitting at
Oh, and
81.
the blink from the Medusa. Blink dash. She does take a life, but Josh from Asia wants people to know that he's still that guy. Don't you dare try and do anything around him. He's gonna make you pay.
Setting a tone. My golly.
Blink in from
He
Tiki
can do
Tiki
with a great
2's
rotation.
Yu Hang is able to pick up another kill. This is a very close game right now. Exactly what I want to see from this league. An absolute banger.
Two-man advantage. I would have liked to see them maybe try to group up for Pyro. They have Merc, they have Raw. You know, they have a lot of good burn potential there. Yeah, they're getting these picks, but they're not capitalizing too much off of them.
Yeah, with the way these trades are going right now, unfortunately, no team is confident enough to make any significant plays. Medusa sitting 8-2, but 2 levels down on this Mercury. How much are you loving watching this Mercury play right now?
His play, mid about. His farming though is spectacular. This guy's farming incredibly well with his golden blade and his rage, and he's setting at 4-1-2, so he's contributing still, but he's definitely showing that he can out farm this Medusa.
So these alts have been off the mark, but these ones on jungle camps have been absolutely slamming, is what you're saying.
Impeccable, absolutely impeccable.
He is a jungle camp's worst nightmare.
I mean, and that's how you want to play Merc, honestly. You know, you want to PvE until you get to your Rage and your Deathbringer. You know, the fact that he has 4 kills, I think you're feeling pretty darn good about it.
He is
So,
hitting 3 stacks on that rage right now. T2 probably into his Deathbringer. Chaos side is going to take a free Gold Fury, whether
yes.
lack of knowledge or lack of ability to step up to it. Chaos takes it for free.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they have it warded, and that's a rookie mistake. You can't be leaving that unwarded with a Merc, a Raw, and a Terra. You know, that's enough sustain and burn that they could just do that at any time.
Yeah, they are able to pull off a counter pyro, so to cut that gold push a little bit, but not necessarily that big in the end. Chaos side also is able to drop the Outwash while all those objectives are going on. Outwash shifting into the Glad Shield pick. What do you think about this?
I like it. You know, this is the exact build I would have wanted him to go, except for the starter with the Conduit Gem, which would have done even more damage based off the upgrade. But other than that, this is the exact Outwash build I think you should go. Um, yeah, I have no qualms about it. Now setting
we
at 40% cooldown. You know, he's tanky. He needs a little magical defense, but he's looking good.
We just saw a brilliant wraparound play from the Scream, trying to make sure that she puts on that pressure to the Uller. This response from the Order side right now, we'll see what they're able to get. Unfortunately, the knock-up immunity, because the Terra had a monolith down, leaves her unable to be plucked by the Sobek, so she's able to get out pretty freely.
You hang ult in there as well for seemingly nothing, kind of questionable, but
Yeah, unfortunately, that double dash from the Terra is something that you're not going to catch up to that easily.
and she's also knockup immune, so she immune 2 knockups with 1 passive right there.
Yeah, right now we're watching a big tower dive play from the Chaos side.
That
Ooh, and the
Merc
Ra
onto the
ult
you
is
hang there.
off the mark again.
I do believe he'll die here if the Sobek hits this pluck.
But Merc is making sure that they're staying around. Merc is sitting in that green camp, hopefully waiting for a blink over the wall. Yu Hang is sitting 1 HP. Yu Hang stepping up a little bit too hard to try and make that raw kill happen. I think he's going to pay for it right now. The Aegis is out from the Yu Hang. Merc is still chasing down. But we see the beautiful counter rotation from the Uller. Unfortunately, Uller gets 3'd by Mercury, and Yu Hang said, "Thanks for the help. I'll see you later, buddy."
And I think he's still going to fall down here because he's got a little bit of helper syndrome right now. Terra, nope, missing. Unlucky.
Yeah, that you hang as that 3 is incredibly safe, but makes Scream pay for that deep dives to try and get it.
Yeah, I don't mind that out of the support there, trying to pick up the kill. He dies to the Medusa. You know,
Yeah, I've
I
seen in
make the
most
same
of
play
these
there.
games, Scream's stat line is never a true reflection to how much he's contributing to the game. a support who has a way to your heart does the same exact kind of plays. Yu Hang finally gets a ult on the mark onto the Yatsoyu, onto the Mercury. Unfortunately, it does not find a kill. Him sitting 3 levels behind is certainly hurting that damage right now.
Yeah, I mean that all comes from this Mercury pressure. I mean, I saw like one crit hit him for about 600. I mean, that's you can't deal with that as a mage. You know, that's crits OP. It always has been.
Oh, and the dash in from Josh from Asia has to hit 3 basic attacks, shows why he is the ADC on the map at this moment. Does not miss a single one, is able to catch that kill on the Ra.
Yeah, the Raw was a little out of position there, trying to step up and challenge Stygian, but I don't think he knew that there were 4 there. Looking at the map, not a lot of wards. Wards wins game.
Yeah, you often see that as the big difference makers between the tops team. We have wards placed. Sobek is really the only one on the order side that's kind of ruling this award placement game. I like to see the Chaos is responding a little bit with a few, but you hate to see a game where there's 3 people at 18 minutes that don't have a single ward placed.
Yeah, that's tough. You know, information is key in games like this, and knowing where the enemy is probably why some people have died. You know, 5 times, 6 times.
Yeah. Ooh, and
Yeah,
the Merc ult is off the map again. Amazing. So many Merc ults off the mark with how phenomenal he's doing at this time.
I know. He's the best merc that I've not seen hit an ult. By golly, he's killing it. Other than his ult hit,
Yeah,
but hey,
six and
he's still
one.
making
Got
an
the
impact.
early
By golly,
Deathbringer. Yeah, he's saying he doesn't need ults to get kills. He's
yeah,
certainly making those ones matter. Has a
that's
very
the easy
early,
way out.
fully stacked rage. Deathbringer online. Probably going into the movement speed lifesteal. We're just gonna watch him get scarier and scarier as this game goes on.
Yeah, and if I'm this you, Hank, I'm at 3 level lead against a merc. That's scary. You know, that's like 2 tap potential.
Josh from
Yeah.
Asia blinks in with this Medusa pull. Ooh, and Ra gets a response ult onto Josh from Asia, is able to put some good damage in, and she falls for only the 3rd time of the game. Chaos side sitting strong there so far at a 2 for none as they push them down. I want to see them turn this into an objective to start making this gold lead matter a little bit.
And as soon as you said it, they all turned for gold on cue, by golly. That's the right play. They pushed him back to the T2. They can't challenge here. They die. Easy objective.
Yeah,
Straight to Pyro, guys.
Ullr's able to get the small consolation prize of the T1 and gets out of there because he fears what's coming his way.
I'd like to see him group again with these Pyro waves on the map. You know, they're going to have to either clear left or maybe clear mid. And while they're doing that, you guys can definitely grab a Pyro. You know, increase that gold lead.
So even though Chubby had a certainly rough beginning on this Heimdallr, I believe he was 0-4 at one point, sitting 4-5 right now, top damage in the game by a significant margin. But let's take a quick look at his build. He's going this pretty heavy attack speed focused only build. We see a 4th slot cowl. What do you think of that?
I mean, you got to get it at some point, I guess. The attack speed build on the Heimdall, not sold on it. But hey, 4 and 5, he's definitely staying prevalent. So
Ooh, and Ra's finally getting those ults on the mark. Almost 100 to zeros.
yeah.
Jay Swervy 3's out of there. Unfortunately, is not able to keep retreating into the Phoenix. But Yotsuyu shows up on this, or I'm sorry, Sinatra shows up on this Uller pick, is able to finally get his 2nd kill of the game. Josh from Asia having a deep fight with the Heimdallr. They're going for the trade. Oh, and Scream comes in to interrupt it. I wanted to see how that 1v1 was going to play out, but Scream's too far good of a support to see that happen.
Easy pick up onto this Alquash.
Yeah, Opash was diving a little deep right there. He's certainly been trying to get those tablet stacks, which he's already hit, thankfully, and is trying to put his pressure as much as possible on the Tiki. Interesting build from him right now. Let's take a look. He has the breastplate. He has the Glad Shield. More physical defense. What do you think about this heavy physical defense, Outwash?
I like it. I think if he goes maybe the Heartward amulet and goes to upgrade that increases all your physical to magical protections, he'll be super tanky. Celsius break breastplate late game. You know, I think most of the damage coming out of the order side is from this Medusa, or sorry, it's from this Mercury and the Heimdall. So I think it's the
Yeah,
right call.
he's certainly shown that he's not too afraid of this Ra. I think Yu Hang might have slipped him a secret and said, "Hey, this Ra's not hitting his ults. Don't worry about it." So he's double downing on this physical defense to try and be able to face off against this Mercury.
He's got to get some though, because if this Ra hits one, that could be a real game changer for this Outwash. You know, it's
I mean, we almost just watched him 100-0 Yu Hang, and unfortunately that damage still wasn't sitting there. Rod decides to go the risky move with a Charon's coin. Unfortunately, only has 5 stacks at 23 minutes on it. Medusa, keeping up this tone that she set the entire game, is now sitting all the way back at the invading the soul laner all the way to their red buff. Tiki is doing his best to get out of this, but the oppressiveness from the Outwash ult and the Medusa not missing very many basics, he falls in the end.
yeah, it's time for this Outwash to shine if he's gonna. I mean, he's full stacked on his tablet. He's triple physical defensed up. It's time for him to come in here and do some damage.
Yeah, they're
And
doing their best to take out a T2 right now. I really want to see Chaos side respond to this. Unfortunately, they're busy trying to defend their T1 in the mid. Chubby does rotate in and is able to pick up the Medusa kill. And Mercury shows up with a long range ult and is able to pick up the upwash kill. They make him pay for the T2. At the end of the day, a T2 did fall. I want to see Chaos push this, turn this into something else.
2 down. I think you got to be looking for a freaking fire giant here, right? I mean, you got to look for the fight, look for the pick, and then go for it. You know, this
Ra uses his ult to try and put in some damage on the Uller. It hits. Unfortunately, it doesn't do as much as they would have liked. So that's their big fire giant secure. Chaos says they don't want to go for that objective until they get a little bit more. Shell is down from the Terra, able to reduce some of that damage from the Yu Hang ult. Terra is able to stay alive. We have a straight 3v3 right now in the mid. The Oboe keeps the Uller involved, even though he didn't want to be. Probably my favorite item in the game, just because the troll factor. And hopefully they're going to be able to run down this T2 right now. Uller desperately trying to get that back off. It looks like Chaos side is just going to settle for a Pyromancer kill.
2 down. You have Raw Mercury. I feel like you're probably trying to go fire there. That's just me, though. You know, you got an attack speed ADC. They go for it now with 5 up.
Yeah, they do have good vision on the left side, though. As you see, a ward just picked them off. And Tiki's team is able to secure it regardless of the Outwash ult ripping over on it. So now fire on 5 for the Chaos side. 2 fighting Scream for those Titan engagements on the dual lane. Scream able to just disengage. This double ADC is just going to absolutely shred through this Titan right now.
Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't see more itemization to kind of stop this double ADC. You know, maybe a relic dagger that goes into the old Witchblade passive, a horrific, the Guardian. You know, I'm just not seeing a lot to kind of stop this double ADC comp from really shredding you down.
Terra still has hope for that right now. She's going into the she still has a 6-slot item open that she could potentially shift into that Witchblade. I don't think they're necessarily afraid of the attack speed from these ADCs, more so than the abilities of this Medusa to just rip through their team. I will say they have responded pretty nicely to this Medusa. At one point, Medusa was sitting, 8-1? She's now sitting 11-5. They're responding to her rotations a little better.
Yeah, they definitely are, but I think to the counterpoint, you almost want to go the mid guardian when they don't have a lot of attack speed, because that's when it gets its most value. You know, if they get full stacks on it, they'll be attacking for basically nothing. And
Tiki
lose
blinks
play
in
to
on
full.
Medusa in the mid lane. She's able to walk out without using any relics. But the Mercury ult is
Gotcha.
on the mark when it counts and is able to set Tiki up for a kill on Medusa.
With the Pridwin shield, gonna keep him alive here.
Uller tried to turn around another kill, and no! Tiki is able to get another kill off of this. Tiki Do, solo lane master, is showing up when it counts.
Yeah, that Pridwin shield was absolutely massive out of Tiki Do. I do believe he went the purple upgrade to give him the huge shield after his ult, and it was a good quarter of his health, and Ul jumped in, and he's like, he's not one shot.
No,
And
Tiki's
he paid
trying
the
to go
price
out the
for it.
door, but they don't have a Phoenix down yet, so the door is not going to open for the opponent's side. So we're sitting at a 4 versus 3 Phoenix push right now. They're using that sustain from the Ra and the Terra, double heals, to try and make sure that they're set up to push us down. I think Merc is going to go for a sneaky little backdoor right here. Let's see who he pulls away, and if the Chaos side is able to just run down the left side, because they all leave.
You committed over there to the Merc. That'll.
Ooh, too committed, but they do get the Merc and they do save the bird. Unfortunately, the left bird falls. I really want to see Chaos try and drop that mid bird while it's as low as it can. And what do you know? Chubby walks right past him, grabs mid bird, and is able to crystal out there, showing a extreme knowledge of how the Heimdallr, how safe he can be. Josh from Asia's trying to make sure his team is still in this. He dashes in with a big ult on Ra. Unfortunately, he doesn't find the kill, and Chubby shows back up. This Heimdallr is really showing that late game prowess. He's trying to make sure he gets another kill, but no, falls to the Sobek. Sobek sitting 3-0 and 4. Big order side, front line showing his strength.
This is so confusing out of the time dollar. I swear he's only gotten kills out of his 2 and his 1, but he's went with this attack speed build. If he goes a power pin build, I feel like he would do 40k damage setting at this point.
I mean, he is top damage. He's making sure that those basic decks are really rocking. He's going for a late game sell of the oboe. I'm very interested to see where he pivots into this. And he goes for the silver branch bow. Unfortunately, he doesn't have anything supplementing it, so he's only going to sit at those 6 stacks. It does give you that little bit of pen. It does give you that little bit of power increase. Just, as you were saying, a very odd choice for a Heimdallr. You traditionally see that silver branch on people with a steroid that could supplement it. Your Ras, even your Medusas if you do so choose to go that attack speed build. Uh, Medusa is just stacking up those deaths right now, trying to make as much as possible happen for her team. Josh from Asia really owned this early game, but they have not transitioned too great into this late game.
No, they certainly haven't. And I think that kind of comes to the solo side actually a little bit. They're lacking a bit of engage out minus the Sobek, but Sobek pluck is not the best engage, believe it or not, because you miss it and then you're just sitting in front of the entire team like, hey, here I am.
You miss it, they beads it. Even if you do get it, the entire team responds to you pretty hard, and you're sitting in front of them. Yeah, the Sobek engage without a lot of zoning ability is certainly hurting them. So let's go over into this Alpwash build. You know what you said you wanted to see. You see what you see now. How you liking it?
He went the Divine, doesn't respect the Raw at all. That's the only thing I've just picked up out of this. He has just taken a white glove and smacked this Raw across the face as an insult, saying, "You don't hit your abilities. I'm not worried about you."
He thinks he hits his heals on his teammates. That's about the only credit he's given him. And you wanted to see a better Gemma Focus probably build from him, but he goes the alternate timeline. Pretty interesting pickup on the Outwash, no?
Yeah, it's a weird one. You don't think of alternate timeline on Outwash because that 6 seconds that he's, or however long you're dead for, doesn't matter all that much because you don't have a dash to get you out. You're just still going to be sitting there after you come back alive.
Yeah, it's a 2-second hold period, and you're really banking on your team to counter respond after you take a death there. Ooh, Ra is hitting those late game ults. Says Gumbo, you probably should have respected, and that's a 2 for none. Mercury is still going, picks up the Sobek kill for a double kill. In the
Big
back
out of it.
line, we do see Josh from Asia pick up Tiki. In the end, it doesn't matter. So far, we just have this solo lane outwash with a tough job of trying to keep this Titan alive. They're not even going for the Titan. They just want Gumbo's KD to go down further. Look at that, ignoring Titan damage. He's just gonna sit. Are they gonna dive him? I'm loving watching this
I
troll play
appreciate
right
that.
now. Alpwash all comes back up, do that full cooldown. They're just ignoring that Titan damage. They could care less. Mercury blink! Mercury gets behind him! Oh, but Winions take the game for the Chaos side.
What a great game.
Yeah, we were very the highest point to point out here is the pick that we were the most skeptical about this entire game. That Medusa pick oddly ended up being the MVP for the order side.
Yeah, really, besides the Sobek, their only shining light was this Medusa jungle that absolutely had some fire early game, but it did kind of tail off towards the end.
Yeah, I think often, like you like to say, it's not necessarily the pick; it's more the player. I think Josh from Asia is just a phenomenal player. He made this pick look far better than it had any business being. As we go over to the damage numbers, the pretty peculiar move of this Ra missing ult, this Mercury missing ult, and them absolutely blowing everybody out of the water in damage numbers.
Yeah, this Rob must have been hitting all of us once, by goodness, because you know I didn't see very many alts connect, but he was setting up there at 30K.
Yeah,
Good for him.
Heimdallr started out 0-4, finishes the game 8-7. Really is able to turn that around. I don't think he ever dropped top damage that entire game.
Ah, I'm not sure. I think maybe Tiki Doo might have had it early there for a while with Alposh slight behind him, but definitely 12 after. It was all Heimdall.
As an ADC main, that's a man with the weight of my heart. He just got ganked like crazy by this Medusa. Gave this Medusa a lot of early game. Didn't quit. Stayed in it. Ended up out gold permitting this Uller counterpart, doubling his damage. Huge big fight from the Heimdallr. My MVP is gonna have to go to Scream. I really set up his team for a lot of these deep dives, diving T2s, setting a tone for that game.
Yeah, Scream set a real presence there, keeping that you hang just 1 in 7, and I would say that's mostly Scream, just diving them relentlessly. And also, this Ull got ganked like none, and this Heimdall got ganked a lot. But Ull ended up 2-8, and Heimdall ended up 8-7. I'm trying to see where the duo lane lost that translation of good ganks from Josh to where it didn't translate to elite.
I think it's the wards is what it really comes down to. Big MVP warding from the Sobek is the award he gets to take from the night. All right, well, ladies and
True.
gentlemen, that was our 11 o'clock match from the Amaterasu's Rank League. The league in itself is going to be taking a brief few weeks break. Then we're going to come back with as consistent a schedule as we possibly can make happen. Every Friday night, tune in. I've been SunriseSamuraii,
I'm
and
Noxious Narwhal.
and we have our lovely camera operator Wolfie. Huge thanks goes out to Real, the runner of the league, for keeping things. We're just gonna do a little bit of maintenance work and come back better than ever. Tune in Fridays for a stream. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a nice night.